everyone, it's Rachel and welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to be talking about my most disappointing reads of 2020. Now, I want to go ahead and start this video by saying that all these opinions are my own, and if you love any of the things I'm about to mention, I am so glad that you do. They just weren't for me. And so with that being said, let's get on into it. So my first thing I want to talk about is my 2 permanent DNS. And what I mean by permanent is that I never plan to pick up these books again. Sometimes I will DNF something and I'm wanting to pick it up in the future. But with these 2, I am not doing that. So I am going to scoot over here because a lot of these things we're going to be talking about are things I read that are digital. One of them, I don't have the book next to me, so I'm going to be putting all the pictures up here for you guys to see. So the first thing we're going to talk about is a volume of manga. It is a one-shot and it is called Get the Key to My Heart, and it is by Emi Mitsuki. This, if I'm remembering correctly, is about our main character. One day he is at his new apartment and he gets a drunk guy at his door. And as soon as he opens the door, the drunk guy starts crying because he looks like their ex. This volume was a chore for me to get through. I stopped halfway through because I did not care. I didn't care about the characters at all. I didn't care about anything that was going on. I feel like this was like, how many tropes can we fit into one manga? And I just did not care about it at all. I don't want to get into too many details because of spoilers, but yeah, it just wasn't for me at all. I didn't care about the characters. The pacing was weird. And another thing that really bothered me was when I was reading this, I couldn't tell who was talking most of the time, and it was a chore. That's all I have to say. It was a chore to get through. Okay, so the next one we're going to talk about is You Are Not Alone, which is a novel by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen. This follows our main character. I believe her name is Shay Miller. And one day she is at the subway and she sees a woman jump in front of the train taking her own life. And she is very curious about this woman. And she finds out who she is, and she goes to the memorial service for this woman, and she is very intrigued by her friends and the life that she must have had, and she wants to be like them. And then, so we follow her point of view and then the view of the friends, and I found their point of view to be much more interesting. I kept like putting this book down while I was reading it because I didn't want to pick it back up. So I got to Shay's chapters and I just didn't want to pick it back up because I just didn't like reading from her point of view. Man, she did some really stupid things and I'm like, girl, no family. But that's basically all I have to say about that one. It was just very disappointing for me. It was one of my most anticipated books of the year, and it was just a letdown. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is what I read physically, and I'm so sad about this, that this was one of my most disappointing of the year. And this is a controversial opinion because everyone loves this, but it didn't hit the mark for me, and that would be Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. Now, I really enjoy Riley Sager. All of his books are my most anticipated of the year, and this was obviously the same case. So this book follows our main character, Maggie Holtz, and when she was young, her family stayed in what is believed to have been a haunted house. After 20 days, I believe, they fled in the middle of the night, and her father ended up writing a book about their experience. Now, in present day, her father has passed and the house is left to her. And she wants to go back and see if what really happened all those years ago was true. She doesn't remember anything. She doesn't believe any of it is real. Now, I will say that I loved the chapters of the book, her dad's book, more. So it goes between present and then chapters from her dad's book. I enjoyed those more. I don't really care for Maggie as a character. And this book, I was wanting the ending to be something different than what it was. And I am not going to say what because it's very spoilery, but just know I didn't get what I really wanted. And I did give this 3 stars, which is, it's 3 stars is not a bad rating at all, but this just wasn't for me. And I am so sad about it, y'all. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is probably also a controversial opinion, and that would be Fly Me to the Moon Volume 1. The series is by Kenjiro Hata, and I think my problem with this is that I hyped it up so much in my head, and it was just kind of disappointing. So this follows our main character, NASA, and he has been connected to space all of his life. He's very smart and he does well in school. So one day he's at a bus stop, sees this girl, our homegirl on the main cover, and he's like, damn, she's really cute. He walks over to her, and in the process, he gets hit by a bus. And she saves his life. And she's like, go to the hospital. And then she like disappears. And then he goes and finds her instead of going to the hospital because, you know, that's a thing to do. And he says, will you go out with me? And she says, only if you'll marry me. And he says yes. And then it just goes from there. I gave this 3 stars. Like I said, with Home Before Dark, not a bad rating at all. I do plan on continuing this series. I'm in no rush though, and I think I might just pick it up digitally and not collect it physically. Not 100% sure yet. But I do like our main female character. She reminds me of myself. And in the back of this, like, there's like an interview with both characters. And she is such a nerd. And I love it. I do really enjoy her. And I just don't care for NASA that much. But that's, like I said, it's my opinion. And those are my thoughts and feelings. So what are you going to do about it? Okay. And we only have 2 more things to talk about. And the first is probably also a controversial opinion. And that would be Girlfriends, and this series is by Milk Morinaga. I don't remember what this is about, so I have it pulled up. So let me just read you the synopsis. When it comes to grades, bookish high school student Kumakura Mariko is at the top of her class, but socially she's at the bottom. Shy and introverted, she usually eats her lunch alone. Enter the charismatic and gorgeous Ohashi Ako, whose goal is to become Mariko's new BFF and burst her out of her timid shell. In the process of transforming plain Jane Mariko into one of the cutest, most popular girls in school, deep feelings begin to merge that suggest something more than friendship. Will these feelings destroy the budding relationship, or will it blossom into something else? And so, my main problem with this, I read the bind up, and it's like the first 2 volumes on my Kindle, and it was just boring. Like, I was just bored. And I think that's really my only complaint and why it was disappointing. Like, it sounds right up my alley. It sounds super cute, but I was just bored. And I think that's really, like, that's all I gotta say about it. There's no tea. I was just bored. So the last thing we're going to be talking about today, Friends, is a yaoi. And that would be Caramel. And Caramel is by Puku Okoyama. And so this series follows our main character, and he is like a really good cook. So I'm looking down at my laptop, by the way. And he moves to Tokyo for school, and he gets an apartment, and he gets to live in there rent-free as long as he cooks for the roommate. And it's kind of their budding relationship. However, my main problem with this is that it's too short. I feel like the ending was very rushed in what happens. And I'm not going to say because obviously spoilers, but I wanted it to be longer. I wanted to see their relationship develop more. It could have been like another 2 chapters long, or it could have been 2, like a duology. And I think that would have made it a better series for me. But it just didn't hit the mark. I used to own it physically. I shipped it off to my friend. Hopefully they like it better. But also, the art isn't really doesn't really call to me, and it's not bad, but it's just not the type of art that I really like and am used to. But yeah, overall, it was just, I think it was just way too short, and that's why it didn't hit the mark for me personally. Okay, so I know this wasn't many things to talk about, but I really did have a good reading year. These were just some disappointments that I had along the way. So if you guys like this video, please feel free to give it a big thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe if you want to and click the bell icon to be notified when I post new videos. Also, if you have read any of these and want to talk to me about them in the comments, please feel free to do so. I love answering comments and I love talking with y'all down there. Also, I link all my social media handles down below, my Twitter, Instagram, and Goodreads, so make sure you follow me on there, and I will see y'all in a new video. Bye!